So you might be wondering how to go from endlessly watching YouTube tutorials to actually improving your singing voice with a real structured plan. In this episode, I've got you covered with a simple but powerful practice structure so that you can make faster progress with just a few focused minutes a day, instead of getting stuck in an hour of unfocused singing that leaves you feeling frustrated. Let's dive into it. Hi, my name is Maggie. I'm the founder of the Singing Insiders, where I help passionate singers just like yourself become the best version of themselves through singing. And in these episodes, you're going to get practical tools, techniques, exercises, and insights to help you up-level your singing skills. So let's look at what it actually takes to go from passively watching YouTube and doing some vocal tutorials to having a structured and effective singing practice. Now, in order to truly get this, you need to understand some common mistakes that many beginner singers tend to make. Number one is jumping from one random video to the next one without a clear focus. I know YouTube kind of tends to suggest videos that we like, and then what most beginner singers tend to do is they sing an exercise or they watch a tutorial and then, oh, here's something else I like, and then they click to the next one. Why is that a mistake? Because there's no structure to this. You might be working on breath support in one video and then suddenly you go on to belting or mixed voice. There are some steps in between there that we need to master before we can move on to those. So that's one mistake. A second mistake is singing for long periods of time without actually working on vocal technique. And this is a big one. Oftentimes, when I first start working together with someone in the Singing Insiders, they tell me like, oh, Maggie, I just sang 2 hours of my favorite karaoke songs, which is amazing. It's not a vocal practice though, if you're not being mindful of all the vocal techniques that you're using or that you need to use within that song. More time doesn't necessarily equal better results. It's more focused, more intention, and more learning and practicing certain techniques that will get you better results. That's what we want to have. So once you are mindful that you might be doing those mistakes, that's when we can do something about it. And that's what brings us into the world of the trained singer. A trained singer has a clear structure. Every time that they practice, they know exactly what to start with and what to end with. We're going to talk about that today. A trained singer will also have one focus. So instead of trying to fix everything at once, they're going to have one thing to focus on. Breath support, belting, internal pitch, like whatever it might be. And they also understand that even 5 to 10 minutes of focused practice makes a difference. And it's way better than 2 hours of random singing. Does that make sense? So here's a structure that I recommend to all the singers that I work with and all our Singing Insider members. Number one, warm up your voice. I know it sounds simple, and maybe you say like, Maggie, I know this, you don't have to tell me again. But here's my question to you. How are you implementing that? Are you, when you're being truly honest with yourself, are you skipping the warm-up from time to time? And I know it can be boring to warm up your voice. That's why in our vocal workout library, if you're a Singing Insider member, go and find one of the daily vocal workouts because we really have done our best to make them fun. So you really want to gently wake up not only the voice, but your whole body. We're talking about physical exercises, rolling of the shoulders, stretching out, releasing any neck tension, then moving into any kind of SOVT exercise like a V, a brr, a V, whatever needed to wake up those vocal cords. In the warm-up, I then like to go to the chest voice activation, to the head voice activation, and then to the mixed voice activation. That's kind of my warm-up process. If you want to have a done-for-you warm-up that you can follow along to, check the link in the description here down below to download the one that I can give you away for free. Number two, once we've warmed up, then we go into our vocal technique focus. As I told you before, the trained singer They focus on one specific thing. So that's what I would suggest to you. Take one focus per practice. Maybe you want to be able to belt. But in order to belt, you need to have different techniques into place. One of those is, for example, twang. So instead of having your focus as, I'm gonna do belting today, where you have different vocal techniques combined together, how about you first master and focus on the twang technique? And once you have that, then you can move on to the next one. So having one focus when you're doing your technical work is way more beneficial than trying to work on everything at once. And then the question that oftentimes comes up is like, well, okay, I work on my vocal technique, but what do I do? What do I actually do? That's where, if you're a Singing Insider member, you can go into the vocal workouts library and choose, for example, the twang vocal workout. That's the work that you need to do. If you're not a Singing Insider member, my biggest suggestion would be to find exercises that fit your voice and your vocal technique focus. So in this example, you would find exercises to help you practice the twang. Does that make sense? Now, if this has been very valuable for you so far, my invitation for you would be to hit the like and subscribe button so that you are being updated for when new episodes just like this one come out. Now, if you're tired of guessing what to do and you're finally ready to train your voice step by step, let's move on and see what's next. So we had our warm-up, we have our vocal technique practice. Next, this is where the juiciness happens, is the repertoire practice. That's where you take a song and look at what is the technical work that I've done and how can I incorporate that within a song. One of the main things that I hear from our Singing Insider members is, Maggie, I love your exercises, but how do I apply them into a song? Once I sing a song, I tend to forget all of the exercises I've done before. That's why this step is so important. When you have practiced, in our example, maybe that was twang, how about you find a song where you can apply that twang and notice what it's like to put that vocal technique within a context. That's number 3. Step number 4, which is the last one, is the vocal cool down. This step really oftentimes is forgotten. And I must be honest, there was a time where I did not do any vocal cool down for my voice, and I felt how tired my voice became. Once I started doing a vocal cool down, that's where I started to feel that beautiful stretch after a big workout. It's like when you go run, for example, and after your run, you're doing some stretches, otherwise you're stiff the next morning. Same thing here. This vocal cool down is really, what is it? It's the opposite of your vocal warm-up, and it's designed for your voice to relax so that the next day you're not feeling any hoarseness. If you're a Singing Insider member, you can find the vocal cool down in your vocal workout library. If you're not a Singing Insider member, my suggestion here for you would be to take whatever warm-up you chose and flip it on its head. So in warm-ups, oftentimes we have ascending scales, so scales going up. For the vocal cool down, I would recommend a scale going down, for example. Oftentimes in a warm-up, we start from low to high, or we're going from chest voice to head voice. In a vocal cool down, I would do the opposite and suggest you start with head voice exercises and then moving your way down to your chest voice register. So that's how you put together a vocal cool down. Those are the 4 steps for a structured approach to your singing practice. Warming up your voice, a vocal technique focus, then putting that into a song so that you apply that vocal technique within a context, and then do your vocal cool down to relax and release your voice. Now, hopefully, as you can see, singing isn't about being born with this natural talent, but it's really about training your voice in the right way. And once you realize that your voice is something that can be built instead of something that you have or have not, that's when everything changes. So the next question that oftentimes comes up is, well, Maggie, how? what do I focus on first? Like, what's the technique I should focus on first? How do I stop guessing my way through a song and finally feel proud of how I sound? Well, that's exactly what I show you in this next video. I will link it up on the screen. I will link it up in the description here down below. And you can find that video as well pinned at the top of my channel, because that's where we get to keep this conversation going and dive even deeper into that vocal technique world. So I'm looking forward to see you there. And yeah, thank you for showing up today and being here. Talk soon. Bye.